Surrogacy isn't openly discussed in the Nigerian society, but there is no denying the fact that it has been in existence for years. And in this special report on surrogacy, senior correspondent Kanu shares the story of a lady who finds joy in this heartwarming action, which is gradually becoming popular in Nigeria.
Surrogacy is gradually being accepted in the Nigerian society as more people prefer it to adoption. This is obvious as more fertility centers spring up daily in Nigeria and Lagos in particular. To say it is almost impossible to get a data on number of surrogacy cases in Nigeria is to say the least, especially in society where people are not comfortable about discussing these issues due to culture, religious beliefs, stigmatization, and others. Nigerians cannot deny the existence of surrogacy given the number of people patronizing these centers, either legitimately or through what has come to be known as baby factories. Judith Akinwumi is from Edo State. She runs My Surrogate Twins agency. She has got a beautiful story to tell. Her first marriage was 5 years.
I was just out of school. I expected when I tried to get pregnant, I would get pregnant. And so I waited 1 year to run my NYSC. Then I did try to get pregnant, and I got pregnant. But in a 2 months' time, I miscarried.
And it took her years to know that she had a medical condition. But this was after some unpleasant experiences.
I went to see the head of the church he was visiting, the head of the zone of the church. So the man says, after listening to our story, he says I should lie on the table with my husband right beside me, and he will anoint my female parts himself with his fingers to kill the spirit of miscarriage. And that's what many women go through. Talking about the disease, last year I was diagnosed with lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune disease where your body fights your organs. So my body fights my organs, heart, kidney, lungs. The womb is the organ, it fights the womb. So because my body fights my organs, the womb, a baby there is not safe.
Then she decided to confront her reality. Mira and Mila are the outcome of that decision.
So we used a different person's body, the same IVF process, we implanted it, and because my body is no more in the equation, it was able to stay and create human life.
Mrs. Akinwumi describes them as the best thing that has happened to her. Her experience birthed Surrogate Twins agency.
I learned of it just online, and I didn't know where to start from. I talked to some surrogacy agencies, and the fee was not what I could afford then. So I made an advert of my own. I'm looking for a surrogate. And so a few people wrote me. I picked one out of them who I thought I bonded with from the way she wrote. And so we went to the clinic of my choice. We ran the tests. We were about to start treatment. We have paid certain fees. And she suddenly changes the dynamics, says the offer we gave her, despite we signed the agreement, was not enough anymore. At that point, we thought, if we continue with her, we increase the offer. She could still change the tables along the way. So we decided to cut our costs at that point and tell her, Auntie, thank you. We'll get back to you. So yes, surrogates have a way of coming up with issues. They are human beings. So it's this middle place of dealing with their issues is where I come in to make it more transparent for the intended parent and easier to deal with. So if you think of blackmailing, you're not blackmailing the parent, now you're trying to blackmail me because it's just me, you know. So that's the place I come in. I couldn't afford IVF, or when I first was diagnosed, we saved towards it. People take loans, we just pray it works at the end.
Though she wasn't comfortable talking about cost, but this was her findings when we searched the internet. What's the difference between traditional surrogacy and gestational surrogacy?
Traditional means we're using the surrogate eggs. Gestational means not her eggs, nothing related to her. So my children were through gestational surrogacy. If you do a DNA with me, they will match. If you do a DNA with the surrogates, it will not match.
Malaki Ogummadu is a lawyer, and he says, though there is no legal framework regulating surrogacy in Nigeria, but a contract agreement applies.
There are parties to that process. Now, for that reason, it is not just conceived, it is known to be a contractual relationship. When you speak about contract, it presupposes the interface or interaction or understanding of one or two persons in relation to an objective, reduced into terms and duly executed. Offers having been made and acceptance having also been made. So having understood all of these parameters, you could see that it's largely a contractual relationship. More advisedly expected to be reduced into writing, duly executed, and when we say consideration in law, we are saying what is the price for that? There are even instances in which the woman in question, the surrogate mother, may be a married woman. In that respect, it will be advisable. Lawyers should ensure that the husband of that woman becomes part of that surrogacy agreement. So you're no longer talking of an agreement between the intentional parent and the surrogate mother. You are talking of probably a tripartite agreement. More importantly, it is a clause that insists on relinquishing any and every right over that child, because that is usually the source of the controversy.
In surrogacy, the commissioner or intending parents may contribute eggs or any other genetical element to the baby, and in other cases, the commissioner contributes nothing genetically, as both egg and spermatozoa can be sourced by either the doctor who's to perform the IVF or the commissioner. And just as married couple can embrace surrogacy, so can a single man or lady who intends to have children without necessarily getting married, as there are agencies for these purposes. Ivy Kanu, TVC News, Lagos.